US university presidents joined Holocaust survivors and thousands of Israelis on Monday for the March of the Living, a yearly memorial march at the site of Auschwitz that honours the 6 million Jews killed by Nazi Germany and celebrates the state of Israel. This year, the mood of the march was overshadowed by the war in Gaza after the October the 7th attack on Israel by Hamas, the deadliest violence against Jews since Adolf Hitler's regime sought to destroy the entire Jewish population of Europe. A small group of pro-Palestinian protesters waving Palestinian flags stood along the side of the road as participants marched with Israeli flags from the site of Auschwitz in the Polish town of Oświęcim to the site of Birkenau, about 3 kilometres away. Through this protest, we want to say that we bow down to the victims of the Holocaust too, said Omar Faris, president of an association of Palestinians in Poland. At the same time, we demand an end to the war, an end to genocide. This protest is to say that we also bow our heads to the Holocaust victims, and at the same time we demand to stop the war, stop the genocidal war which is led by a criminal Netanyahu, with the help of the United States. We want to tell all those young people who came from around the world, Jews who want to remember their ancestors who were killed, that their ancestors who are still alive, they do the same Holocaust with us. The October attack unleashed a war that has led to a high number of Palestinian deaths, fueling pro-Palestinian protests that have swept US campuses. Many Jewish students have felt intimidated by protests, which have at times included anti-Semitic tropes and calls for anti-Jewish violence. This year, Israeli hostages released from captivity in Gaza and families whose relatives are still being held captive also joined. Judith Zamir, a Holocaust survivor from Germany who moved to Israel in 1964, had long avoided visiting Auschwitz, but she was inspired to join this year's march after her kibbutz fended off an attack by Hamas on the 7th of October. See, I try not to remember it all the time, but on the 7th of October they brought me the remembrance very, very harshly back, she told the Associated Press at the site of the former death camp. And that's the moment when I decided, okay, this is the time you should go to Auschwitz to see it. The area was under German occupation during the Second World War, and today the former death camps are preserved as memorials by the Polish state. The march took place on what is Holocaust Remembrance Day in the Jewish calendar. A grim landscape of watchtowers and barracks were filled with blue and white Israeli flags, a celebration of Jewish survival at the place of genocide. The event, now in its 36th year, usually draws thousands of participants, including Holocaust survivors and Jewish students, leaders and politicians.
It is our belief that all of us, we the Jewish people, who come from a long line of ancestry spanning over 3,000 years. We are all survivors. So this year we want to embrace all who have suffered, all who have passed, all who have met unspeakable acts against them simply because they are Jewish.
Amid the backdrop of pro-Palestinian protests that have roiled American campuses, Rabbi Ari Berman, president of the Yeshiva University in New York, led a delegation of leaders from Catholic, evangelical and historically black colleges and universities. Some who had planned to attend had to cancel to deal with protests at home, Berman told the Associated Press, although he did not name them.
I am here leading a delegation of university presidents who have come to the March of Living, who come to Auschwitz in the greatest tragedy and the greatest travesty ever committed against the Jewish people in human history. And they have said that hate needs to end and that we need to say never again, not just about the past, but that never again is now.